Well, welcome to the first episode of the podcast. I'm so excited to bring, people's stories, people's where they started, how they, got to where they are in the journey when it comes to, the poker life and the poker strategies and secrets that kind of are like behind the scenes that no one really talks about. I'm so excited to bring that to you. But I think this episode, I kind of want to start with my origin story and where I came from. And I remember being a college student at in California, Cal State San Bernardino, and a buddy from mine from Cleveland, Ohio, which I'm originally from, called me up and said, "Hey, do you want to play poker online?" Now we're talking back in 2001, 2002, and I was nervous because he's like, "Get $100 and we'll go online." And I had to tell him like, "Look, I have no idea how to play poker." He's like, "Don't worry, we're gonna stay on the phone and I'm gonna tell you exactly what to do." Now at the time, it's like considered cheating, right? But I had no idea what it was. So I ended up getting $100. I put it online and I started Poker Stars. And in that first night, I won $500. Now, I had no idea what I was doing, but one thing that I did realize was there's money to be made here. And there's real money to be made in poker, right? So for me, a college student, $500, that is a ton of money. And I was so excited. So I went to Barnes and Noble. I remember, buying every book I can find on poker and just started reading everything from Dan Harrington, Doyle Brunson. I think it was Phil Gordon at the time. All these people, Phil Hellmuth, all these books I can find to talk about tournament strategy, cash game. And I dove deep. And for the next 8 years, I would realize that poker would become my life. Now, I remember, during that time, I took a lot of bad beats. There was a lot of, learning that I had to do. But what I saw was I can make money as a low stakes hold'em player, no limit hold'em playing, low limit tournaments and low limit cash games. And I was there able to make a decent living. Now I wasn't, this big tournament player where I'm winning bracelets and things like that. And from that perspective, like, of course, my dreams have always wanted to be, playing the big tournaments. And I played in a few, but I realized the real money was made in the smaller cash games, just kind of cleaning up those. So as I did that for those years, I had kids along the way. And my daughter, at the age of 5, she went to school, and they had like, "Hey, what does your parents do for a living?" And I remember my daughter come home so enthusiastic and happy to tell people that her dad plays poker. And just for that minute, I was like, "Ah," like it felt in the moment, it just felt dirty. And there was nothing wrong with playing poker. And as I realize that now, but at the time, I felt a little bit ashamed. And I think it came from like my parents just, this note or this like thing about, poker and it's gambling and it's all this other things. And I try to explain to them like, "Hey, there's a strategy to be played here. And when you implement the strategy, I'm not gambling. It's like everyone else is gambling and I'm playing a strategy. That's why I'm winning." And as I thought about that, in that time, I won a big tournament and I met someone and they said to me, like, "Hey, what do you do with your money?" I said, "Man, I don't know. No, you want to open up a restaurant?" And I said, "I'm ready to get out of this life." So once I started the restaurant business, almost on that day, I quit cold turkey and I stopped playing poker. And I kind of missed it. Right now, what that taught me at that time was I wasn't addicted to gambling because that's what everybody thought. That's what my family thought. That's what they kind of instilled in my head. And when I think about it, it's like, oh, I missed out on so much because I could have been playing this whole time. But I ended up opening businesses, selling restaurants, right? Currently I run a marketing agency. And it wasn't until actually a few months ago where I try to figure out, why do I like marketing so much, specifically paid advertising with Google and Facebook. And it was really about the strategy and how to like outmaneuver and like work the system. And as I thought about how that relates to poker, that's what it was. It was always about like, reading the table and putting my money where the best odds were. And that's what marketing was for me. Now I still currently run a marketing agency, but I'm about to go on this journey. And it's been about 8 to 10 years since I really played poker seriously. Now I played maybe a $10 tournament, $20 tournament with friends, but I'm about to go on this journey where I am going to kind of like dive back into the lifestyle. And along with me running a business, I want to go basically, we call it the average Joe into a poker pro. So I want to go back into that lifestyle and I want to share my journey along the way. And along this journey, I want to meet, great people that I'm going to interview, and I'm going to share those interviews here with you on the podcast. But I'm also going to share my journey on my wins, my losses, and what I'm doing really to transform this piece. Now, as I do this, I've been building up, great resources to share with you. And if you go to pokerstrategysecrets.com/resources, you can pick up these resources and you can see exactly what I'm sharing or what I have to give to you guys as you opt in. And I'm excited to do this for you. And I appreciate you come along the journey with me. And I'm sure we'll see some bad beats, but most of all, most importantly, we're definitely going to see some wins. So I'm excited to share this journey with you, and I appreciate you coming along this with me. This is definitely episode 1. That is my origin story. I'm sure I will dive deeper into my story as the podcast progresses, but thank you again for listening.